In 1919, a letter arrived. Inside, it was written, "If jazz music isn't played tonight, I'll cut everyone's throat." And that night, the entire city of New Orleans began to dance out of fear. Because in the last 12 months, many people had been killed while they slept with an axe. And the killer? He was never caught. He was called the Axeman of New Orleans. Today we will talk about the jazz demon who made an entire city dance to his tune. An ordinary morning. See, to understand the story, we have to go back a little bit. New Orleans, 1918. This city was known for its fun, its music, and its culture. Jazz music was being born, people were happy, and World War I was on the verge of ending. Everything seemed normal. But guys, as they say, the brighter the light, the deeper the shadow. There was a strange restlessness in the streets of New Orleans. Joseph Macchio and his wife Catherine, they were an Italian couple. They ran their own little grocery store. Very hard-working people. On the night of May 22nd, everything was fine. They closed their shop, ate dinner, and went to sleep in their home. Their brothers, Andrew and Jay, lived in the next door. The night grew deeper. Silence fell over the streets. But inside that house, someone else was there too. It must have been around 4 or 5 in the morning. Andrew's eyes snapped open. He was hearing strange sounds coming from the other side of the wall. Groaning sounds. He thought perhaps Joseph was sick. He ran to their house. As soon as he reached inside, the scene he saw was enough to shake any human being's soul. Joseph and Catherine were covered in blood. Joseph was still alive, but Catherine, her throat had been cut with a razor, so deep that her head was nearly severed from her body. And Joseph, so many blows from an axe had been delivered to his head that his face was unrecognizable. And listen, do you know what the scariest part was? The axe they were killed with was their own axe. The killer hadn't bought any weapon from outside. He used the weapon of their own home against them. Joseph took his last breath in his brother's arms. And on the floor, in the middle of a pool of blood, lay that axe. And the door? The bottom panel of the door was chiseled out. The killer had crawled in from right there. This wasn't just a murder. This was the sound of arrival of the Axeman. The spree of attacks. Now, here the police thought that perhaps this is some personal rivalry, some mafia connection, because the Maggio family was Italian. But guys, how wrong the police were, they only realized a few weeks later. Months passed and it seemed like perhaps this was a one-off incident. But the Axeman was just waiting for the right time. June 1918, Louis Bessumer and his mistress Harriet Lowe. In the morning hours, a bakery delivery man found them soaked in blood. The same method. The back door was cut, their own eggs was picked up, and they were stuck while sleeping. Listen to the twist. Louis Bessumer survived. Harriet also survived, but only for a short time, and when she regained consciousness, what she told the police complicated the entire scene. She said the attacker was not a black man as the police were thinking, but a European-looking man. But the real fear spread when in August 1918, Mrs. Schneider was attacked. She was 8 months pregnant. Imagine the level of that brutality. She was sleeping when suddenly a dark shadow came over her. Her face was struck with an axe. Her teeth were broken. Her face split open. Luckily, she survived and she gave birth to a healthy baby girl. But the scars of that night were imprinted on her face and mind forever. Now the pattern was clear. The killer comes at night, he cuts the door panel, uses a chisel, he uses the house's axe, and without stealing anything, he vanishes. The name of the Axeman was on every tongue in the city. People started staying awake all night to keep watch. Husbands sent their wife away to their parents' homes. New Orleans was no longer the big city, it had become the city of fear, investigation, and police confusion. Now you might be thinking, man, what were the police doing? Did they have no clues? See, policing in 1918 wasn't like the CSI stuff of today. No DNA test, no CCTV, and fingerprinting was also in very early stage. The police were completely clueless. Superintendent Frank Mooney put all his effort, but the killer, he was like a gust of wind. The police's biggest mistake was that they were considering this is a robbery, whereas this was a thrill killing. The killer didn't want money, he just wanted to kill. There was another strange thing. Most of the Axeman's victims were Italian grocers. So the police thought this was the work of the Black Hand or the Mafia. They arrested many innocent people. Even a poor man named Jordan was caught just because he was seen near the incident. But while the suspects were in jail, the attacks continued. On August 10th, Joseph Romano was attacked. He was an elderly man. His niece saw the killer running away, a heavy-set man who wore a black coat and hat. Mr. Romano couldn't survive. After Romano's death, mass panic broke out in the city. People took the streets. The pressure on the police was so high that they said anyone seen looking suspicious at night, shoot them. Imagine what the atmosphere must have been like. The killer was seen in every shadow. The letter from hell. Now comes the turn in the story that made this case the most bizarre case in history. March 13, 1919, the newspapers of New Orleans receive a letter. On the envelope, it was written, "For the editor." When the editor opened that letter, his hands must have been trembled because the writer did not describe himself as human. I want you to listen to the words of that letter carefully. These words were straight from that killer. Hell, March 19, 1919. Esteemed mortal, they have never caught me and they never will. They never have seen me, for I am invincible. I am like the ether that you breathe. I am not human. I am a spirit. A demon. I am what you Orleans call the Axeman. Are you listening? He was calling himself a demon. But what he wrote next was even more terrifying. Next Tuesday night at 12:15 earthly time, I'll pass through New Orleans. And I, in my infinite mercy, offer you people a proposition. I am very fond of jazz music, and I swear by all the devils in the nether regions that whichever house has jazz music playing at that time will be spared. But if in any house there is no music, then they will have to taste my axe. Think about it. A killer is blackmailing an entire city saying, "Play the song or you will be killed." The night the city played jazz. The night of the March 19th, meaning Saint Joseph's night. The entire city of New Orleans turned into a dance hall. No one wanted to take a risk. In every house, every club, every streets, jazz was playing. Those who didn't have a gramophone were banging pots and pans, singing loudly. Those who were rich hired entire jazz bands for their homes. There was more noise in the New Orleans that night than perhaps ever before. This was not a celebration, this was a survival. People were dancing out of fear. A famous song was even composed at that time, the mysterious Axeman's Jazz. "Don't scare me, Papa." This song became a hit overnight. And do you know what happened? When the clock struck 12:15, the city was echoing. And just as that monster promised, that night no murder took place. The Axeman didn't come. Or perhaps he was right there, standing outside some window in the darkness, enjoying the music, smiling at how he made the whole city dance on his fingers. But this peace was the calm before the storm. Evidence and clues. Let's play detective for a bit. What evidence did we have? 1. The chisel. At every crime scene, the same method. The bottom panel of the door was cut with chisel. Only someone who understands woodwork or is very strong can do this work. The panel used to be so small that entering through it wasn't easy. The weapon, always the house axe. Does this mean the killer was impulsive, or was he so confident that he would find a weapon? Most houses back then did have an axe, no robbery. He never stole valuable items. This means his motive was only and only fear and death. Target, mostly Italians. Did he hate Italians, or was he Italian himself and killing his own kind to hide his identity? The police caught many people, but due to lack of evidence, everyone had to be released. This case was looking like a perfect crime. So many years have passed, but the question remains the same. Who was he? There are 4 main theories on this. Listen carefully. Theory number 1. The Mafia Hitman. Some people believe this was the work of Black Hand Mafia. They used to extort money from Italian shopkeepers, and whoever didn't pay, the Axeman would have taken care of them. But guys, why would the Mafia write a letter demanding just be played? This theory doesn't fit completely. Theory 2. The Sexual Sadist. Modern FBI profilers believe that the Axeman was a sexually motivated serial killer. He was sadist. He enjoyed torturing people and showing power over them. Seeing blood gave him a relief. This theory is the most widely accepted. Theory 3. Frank Dog Mumford. This name came up much later. Frank was an Italian who lived in New Orleans. Later he moved to Los Angeles. The funny thing is that as soon as he left New Orleans, the killings stopped. And similar murders happened in LA too. Was Frank the Axeman? It's possible. Theory 4. The Supernatural. And the fourth theory, which was written in the letter, that he was not a human, but a demon. New Orleans is a city that have history of voodoo and magic. Some people still believe that he truly came from hell and went back after finishing his work. The End of Terror and Legacy. October 1919. Mike Pepitone. This was the Axeman's last victim. Mike was killed in his bedroom. His wife saw a man running away, and that's it. After this, silence. Just as he came, like the wind, he vanished. After 1919, no attack by Axeman occurred. Did he die? Did the police catch him for some other crime? Or did he just decide that the game is over? We will never know. Today, even after 100 years, the scent of that fear is in the winds of New Orleans. If you go there, haunted tours will take you near those houses. Shows like American Horror Story have made him immortal. But for those families, Maggio, Bessumer, Pepitone, for them this was not a story. This was the most terrifying truth of their lives. A truth that never got justice. The Axeman of New Orleans is a mystery that will perhaps never be solved. It teaches us that sometimes monsters aren't under our beds. They are standing outside our doors, just waiting for a small chance. That letter, that night of jazz music, and that blood-stained axe, all of this is buried in the pages of history. But tonight when you go to sleep, and if you hear a faint knock-knock sound from outside, don't just think it's the wind. Do check your back door once. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and definitely subscribe to our channel so that you keep getting notification for every next video. Because next Friday, we will meet again with another mysterious case like this that will steal your sleep. Until then, sleep tight.